Hey Browns fans, it's time to gear up for a pain-free 2022 NFL season for your Cleveland Browns with new friends of the show, Buckeye Law Group. If you've been injured in a car accident, a slip and fall, a work accident, or even if you've been buried into the ground by Myles Garrett or stiff-armed by Nick Chubb, you need to call Buckeye Law Group today at 1-800-411-PAIN. Their attorneys will fight for the money you deserve. Buckeye Law Group's attorneys have recovered over $1 billion for their clients throughout the entire country. So don't make the mistake of calling just any other attorney. Call attorneys you can trust, and best of all, they're Browns fans just like you. Call our friends from Buckeye Law Group at 1-800-411-PAIN. After 911, call 411. That's 1-800-411-PAIN. 1-800-411-7246. That's Buckeye Law Group, located at 1300 East 9th Street, Suite 1210 in Cleveland, Ohio. Buckeye Law Group, proud fans of the Cleveland Browns just like you.
What's up, Browns fans? This is Joe from Mentor, Ohio. It was a great win last night against the Steelers. Always love to see that. Nick Chubb's a beast. Whenever I see him tearing up the defenses, I always yell at my TV, Chubba, Chubba, choo, choo. Let's go, Dawgs podcast. Let's kick this thing off. Hoo, hoo, hoo.
Welcome to the Dawgs podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
Welcome back to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. If you want to get your intro on the show, head to thedawgspodcast.com, tap leave voicemail on the drop-down menu. We want to thank Joe for that awesome intro. He must be a long-time listener. We haven't had anybody say, let's kick this thing off in a long time.
No, it's been a little bit.
So that's
filthy.
This guy's been listening for some years now, so we appreciate you listening, man. Browns came away. Huge win on Thursday night against the Steelers. We're getting loose today. You got to do it because, I think we've only beat Tomlin like 6 times in his entire tenure.
Don't get a chance to do that very often.
No. Although we are, what are we like? We've won 5 in a row on Thursday nights or something crazy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
29-17 win over the Steelers. We're going to give you all your thoughts. Plus, we got a ton of voicemails to get to today, so that's awesome. Before we do, I want to remind you to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Make sure you tap the notification bell so you never miss a new episode. We're creeping closer to the 5,000 subscriber mark on YouTube, which is crazy for us.
Go subscribe, everybody. Go subscribe.
We need, I think, 50 more subscribers. So if you're listening and you haven't yet subscribed, please help us hit that 5,000 mark. It wasn't a year ago and we were like knocking the door at 100. So we appreciate everybody's support. If you prefer to just listen to the podcast, you can find us on Apple, Spotify, and Google. Lastly, if you're looking for more Dawgs content, head to jointhedawgs.com. Become an official Dog Pack member on our Patreon page. The fantasy leagues are going on. Extra episode every week. A lot of times, too, with the extra episode, it's what you guys want to listen to. I'll make a thread on the day that we're going to record. Say, hey, what do you guys want to talk about today? We'll let people tell us. It's an episode basically for them. We've had Patreon members come on and be on the show with us on the after hours. So if you're looking to be more involved in the show, more direct access to us, you want an extra episode every week, jointhedawgs.com, become an official Dog Pack member. So like we said, we had a big victory for the Browns, 29-17, put us into, for a few days, sole possession of first place in the AFC North. Now we're tied, but whatever, we're still first place. John's not here today. He had to work, so he had vacation, then he's on work. We do have a voicemail from John. He likes to still get his input on the show, so we'll go ahead and play that real quick before the real people start talking.
Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry I couldn't make it in today. Just wanted to share my thoughts on the game. That was a huge win. Puts us at first place in the division, which is great. Beat a division rival, which is great. Offense continues to look really, really good. Thanks to the fact that Cooper's always open and Chubb's just a beast. Brissett's making all the right plays, too. Njoku looked sweet. Defense did a good job. Held him to 3 points total in the first, third, and fourth quarters combined. The 2 scores in the second quarter were kind of disconcerting, but looked like we kind of got buttoned up after that. There were a few things I didn't like about the game I thought you could touch on. Number one, Myles Garrett, I thought had an opportunity to be really disruptive, and he wasn't. And secondly, I thought giving the Steelers the ball back at the end of the game, only up by 6, given what happened on Sunday, was kind of a mistake. I would have gone for it personally. We only had less than a yard to go. So other than that, I think it was a really good win. All right, see you guys.
See you, John.
Bye, John. Yeah.
Hey, before we dive into, everything John talked about with the game, maybe we should hit that kind of breaking news today with Myles Garrett, because he mentioned about Myles. So let's do that real quick.
It rolled his Porsche about 48 times. Jeez. So hopefully we don't have a ton of information. That just kind of, the news is just coming out as we're sitting down to record. So hopefully he's okay. We've heard it's not life-threatening, but if you roll your car a bunch of times, I'm sure he doesn't feel great right now. Potentially we've heard maybe broken wrist. I don't know. I know I've totaled a vehicle, and I was pretty freaking sore for a good 4 or 5 days. So in terms of, is he going to be available to play this Sunday? I guess that's secondary right now. You're more concerned about make sure he's okay. But if he is okay, looking at the football side of things, if he has a broken wrist, I mean, he can still play with a broken wrist. I would imagine if he doesn't need surgery or whatever, but you can wrap it and play with a club. Mm-hmm. But we'll have to keep an eye on those news. So hopefully Myles is okay. I don't think anybody else was involved. So we'll keep an eye out on that, because obviously that would be a huge loss for the defense.
Yeah, I mean, with the news just coming out today, it being Monday, that he was in this car wreck, and, the reports, I mean, like you said, it's not life-threatening, but the reports are not great. It's not like he got out without a scratch. So I would assume he's not going to play Sunday, would be my initial Monday podcast take.
Yep.
All football stuff aside, I mean, at least
he's okay.
He's okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean.
So we might have put out a video that we were really mad about him, but we still don't want him to get in car accidents.
No, we want him actually to be on the field so he can play better.
Yeah. I thought John brought up some good points, especially the offense. The offense is third in the league right now in EPA, behind, I think it was the Bills and the Chiefs.
Gee, and who's our quarterback? It's not Mahomes or Allen, is it?
Miami and Kansas City, so not even the Bills. Third.
Okay. And our quarterback is?
Jacoby Brissett.
Oh, superstar elite.
He's right now, he was just the highest graded offensive player in the league this past week.
No, not for this past week.
For the season, he's been the highest graded. Yeah. That's the highest grade any offensive player's earned so far. I think it was 92.5.
Yep.
Wow.
He's playing. What's crazy is the turnaround from week 1 to all of a sudden in weeks 2 and 3. I guess, he didn't play much in the preseason. But man, it's like something clicked.
No, and like I said before, training camp, all the first team reps went to Deshaun Watson.
Yep.
It was not Jacoby. So he wasn't out there getting the rapport with these guys. I mean, you see in week 1, Amari Cooper's stat line was basically non-existent.
Correct.
Week 2, explosion. So which game is the real thing, right? Well, week 3, another explosion for Amari Cooper. So I think they're figuring this thing out quick.
First Browns wide receiver with back-to-back 100-yard games since Josh Gordon in 2013.
Wow. That's insane.
And the dude's just literally always open.
Yep.
It's incredible. I mean, we're going to talk more about the game, but watching our offense, it was almost like watching the Chiefs when they had Tyreek and Kelsey. It was like, well, this play goes to the receiver, this play goes to our wide open tight end. And they were, I mean, between the two of them, Amari Cooper had 11 targets and Njoku had 10.
Yep.
Had 21 targets on Jacoby's 31 attempts. Mm-hmm. And they were open all game. All game.
Yep.
Njoku, in my opinion, had his best game as a pro. I know he had the huge game against the Chargers last year.
But a lot of that came on one big play.
Yes, this was like the most complete. I mean, he was just open.
Methodical.
All the time. Yep. Making big catches, had a great touchdown. And they talked about, I think Stefanski talked about this after the game, why he doesn't do this every single game is we use him as a ton to block.
Because what is the bread and butter of our offense?
Is Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb.
And I think that speaks volumes for David Njoku, the person, though, is early in his career, he was not a good blocker. And when we heard rumblings that he wanted out, part of it was we thought he didn't want to be a blocking tight end in this offense. And all of a sudden he's transformed himself to be like a very good blocking tight end who, also happens to be an athletic freak.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, talk about what a weapon to have at your disposal if you're Kevin Stefanski. We need you to block 20 times so we can rush for 180 yards this game. Okay, cool. We're going to throw the ball to you 11 times this game. You're going to score a touchdown. We can do that also.
Right. Yeah.
He's been awesome. Amari Cooper, man, he had the one drop, which was crazy.
Yeah,
it was on a great throw from Brissett.
And you could just see it in Cooper's face. Oh, yes, sir. You guys were at the game, but
yeah.
On the broadcast,
down, right?
I mean, they just showed Cooper, and he just looked like just shaking his head like, I can't believe I dropped that.
No, but you cannot cover him one-on-one.
No.
And I think all the people last year and in this offseason that were talking about Kevin Stefanski's play calling as being the problem, you guys owe this man an apology.
You guys are very wrong.
I think he has called 3 master class games on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, he's called 3 great victories.
Yeah, one of them happened.
One of them just didn't work out that way.
I mean, he has the Steelers defense, even without TJ Watt, historically just beats the crap out of us all the time. And he had them in a blender.
I mean, what did Minka Fitzpatrick do in that game?
I didn't even notice him. The only time I noticed him was when he wasn't tackling Nick Chubb on the long run.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you guys too, on the broadcast, forgot about him. They didn't have to say his name much because.
And I don't want to harp on old teams, old players, but my God, this is a team. This is a game that
it'll get brought up
last year. We would have thrown a pick 6 in the first quarter because we did that. You know what I mean? It's just a breath of fresh air. You're seeing what this offense can be with good quarterback play. And you're also seeing, Jacoby Brissett's a career journeyman backup.
So good quarterback play, but the quarterback playing is not an elite quarterback.
No, but this offense
that's the crazy thing.
That's because this offense is known to be quarterback friendly. It's supposed to be an easy offense for quarterbacks to thrive in. Mm-hmm. And that's all Jacoby's doing. Jacoby has never been a guy who gets graded at 92.5.
Right.
But you put him in this system with Kevin Stefanski calling plays and his scheme, and all of a sudden he looks like he's like a top 10 quarterback right now.
He looks incredibly, incredibly comfortable in the offense with the play calling, everything. It shows. He goes through his progressions. If the first one's not there, he literally would look at Mari and then, oh, hey, there's Njoku. Oh, cool. Okay. And it was like that all game.
Yeah.
All game.
We've heard some rumblings, too. Then there's some people, the Twitterverse, mad that the secondary receivers and stuff for the Browns aren't getting targets. Well, who are you going to take targets away from? Mm-hmm. No disrespect. I was excited for David Bell, too, but I'm not throwing him the ball if Amari Cooper's open.
Right.
If Njoku's going to catch 9 out of 10 and Amari's going to do his thing with 11 targets, how many times are we going to throw the ball with Jacoby Brissett in a game?
Correct.
And Nick Chubb running the ball. There's really not much else to go around.
Nick and the Patrons said, we have 4 elite offensive weapons. Yeah. We have Amari Cooper, David Njoku, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. Those are your 4 elite guys on the offensive side of the ball. Everybody else, they just need to be good enough to make the play if they're called upon.
Yep.
Correct.
A couple times here and there. David Bell was 1-on-1. He got the ball thrown to him one time. He made the catch. Yep. That's what we need. I don't need David Bell to be the 10-catch guy. That's what Amari Cooper's there for. DPJ, just make your catches when the opportunity is given to you. But you're not going to get DPJ's not going to get 10 targets. We're not going to throw the ball 60 times.
Right.
Well,
go ahead.
I was just say against the Jets, it was Harrison Bryant early in the game getting some big catches.
Yeah.
This game, he's not on the stat sheet.
Correct. And it's just, you have a bread and butter, and our bread and butter is Nick Chubb.
Oh, man, is it ever Nick Chubb.
He's now, 5th in Browns franchise history?
Correct.
They kept throwing the graphic on the screen, and it was all time. The only players through however many years in the NFL have averaged 5+ yards a carry, whatever it was, for their entire career. And 2 out of the 4 or 5 guys were Browns, and it was Jim Brown and Nick Chubb.
Yeah,
I know he was leading the league in rushing. I don't know if after yesterday.
Pretty sure he still is.
I also saw he's got, I think it was 24 100-yard games since he's come in the league or something like that, and that's the most in that time frame. It's one more than Derrick Henry, who we put out a video saying Nick Chubb was the best running back in football, and everybody was screaming it was Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor. Mm-hmm. How are those guys doing?
They are not looking as great as Nick Chubb right now.
Nick Chubb's playing at a different level this year right now.
Nick Chubb, and the thing is, I think he's getting more carries this year.
Oh, for sure.
And you're seeing him get to play in an offense that has a pass threat.
Yes.
For maybe the first time in his career, there's the threat to throw the ball. There's an outside receiver who can make things happen, and Njoku's coming into his own, and we have a quarterback who can put the ball where it needs to. Defenses have to respect the pass against the Browns now, finally, and you're seeing Nick Chubb eat. Well, that's never been the case.
No. If Nick Chubb stays healthy this season, he will be the NFL's rushing leader this year. It will happen
that
because
be
of everything you just said about the legit passing threat. And the only time in his career that I think he's ever really had that was that second half of 2022.
Yeah.
Or 2020, I'm sorry. Whenever Baker caught fire and we had that easy schedule and we made the playoffs, and we had good quarterback play for half a season. But this looks like this is sustainable, what we're seeing on offense.
I think we all thought that they were going to lean heavy on the run game these first 11 games with Watson out. But like you said, it's crazy how much Jacoby has kind of evolved.
We still ran the ball 7 more times than we threw it.
Right, right. And you're letting Nick Chubb run the ball 23. Kareem had 12 carries.
We were also leading,
Yeah.
which lends itself more to running, which is good. That's great to be in the lead.
I know the Browns had almost 400 yards of offense. And I think we had 374 until our last drive. Then we ended up going backwards a little bit, so it probably ended in the 360s. But we were knocking on the door for 400 yards of offense against the Steelers.
With our backup quarterback.
Guys, when Deshaun Watson comes back.
This is what we've been talking about all offseason, and it's playing out on the field.
This team, and guys, you also have to pump the brakes. I know Brissett's playing great.
Yeah, let's address that real quick.
I know Brissett's playing great the last 2 games, but I don't care how great he's playing. Week 12, Deshaun Watson will be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns.
Yes.
He's getting paid $230 million guaranteed. And not to be rude, not to take anything away from Jacoby, but if he's doing this in this offense, what's Deshaun Watson going to do?
The last time Deshaun Watson stepped foot on the football field, he was the NFL's passing leader.
Yeah, with Bill O'Brien as his coach.
And a crappy Houston Texans offensive line and no receivers but Brandon Cooks.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy.
Welcome to Cleveland. This is going to be nice.
Yeah, and how about just a little sidetrack right now? Okay. The Browns are tied for first in the AFC North. The Indians / Guardians just clinched the division.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The youngest team in baseball. Browns are one of the youngest teams in football, tied for first place, 2-1. Should be 3-0. Indians, youngest team in baseball, and just clinched the division. Tito Francona, in my opinion, is one of the best managers ever.
Yeah.
The Cavs, great young team last year until injuries, and then they go out and make the biggest offseason acquisition arguably in franchise history.
Unbelievable.
Other than, LeBron coming back as a free agent.
Yep.
And then Ohio State just curb stomped Wisconsin.
Ohio State looks legit.
Yes. So,
Legit.
if you're an Ohio sports fan right now,
Just
Enjoy
bask
it.
in it.
it's good.
Yep.
Enjoy it.
Life is
It's
good.
good because it is. For a long time in my life, it was not good to be in. Other than Ohio State, Ohio State's always been good.
Yeah.
Right.
But man, my Cleveland teams, it's been rough sledding at times. Other than the LeBron years, and the Indians, would be good. Every on rotational. But man, it's a good time to be a Cleveland / Ohio.
If you're a
sports
northeastern Ohio, mid to northeast Ohio sports fan, because if you like the Bengals
Or
that
the
kinda
Reds.
sucks right now.
fan. Yeah. So that was a little off topic, but man, good for the Indians. I'm gonna call them. I still call them the Indians, guys. I'm sorry.
We grew up with the Indians. They're the Indians. Yeah.
I'm actually ashamed though because, I blame Bally Sports and I have no way to watch them. So this is a team that has a chance to really do something, and I know almost nobody on the team.
Yeah.
I watch the scores, I keep up and see how we're doing, but in terms of just like sitting down and watching, I have no way to do it because Bally Sports sucks.
Yeah, that blows.
It's terrible. It was one of the dumbest things the Indians ever did. I think it's costing them. This is way off topic. It's costing them in attendance. Because guess what I'm not going to do? I'm probably not going to pay to go watch an Indians game for a bunch of players who I don't know who they are because I can't watch them on TV.
Right. That's what gets people in the stadium is seeing it on TV.
Yes. So let me watch them, put it on normal cable or in streaming services so I can watch them, be more invested, and then I'll pay to go watch games. But, what do we know?
Hey, Browns fans, let's take a quick break in the action to remind you guys about DraftKings Sportsbook. The NFL action is in full swing here at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. We're talking touchdowns, big plays, and even bigger wins. New customers can bet just $5 on any NFL team to win and get $200 in free bets if they do. And if that's not enough, everyone can boost their winnings with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. Right now, for every leg you add, you can boost your winnings up to 100%. With payouts bigger than ever, why bet on football anywhere else? To make things even sweeter, you can throw down on stepped-up same-game parlays once per game day all season long. So go download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now and use promo code TPPN to get $200 in free bets if your team wins when you place a $5 bet on any football game. That's code TPPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.
From tailgate parties to busy weeknights, the flavor experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easy to savor all the flavors of fall. With their mouth-watering assortments of perfectly aged steaks, ultra-juicy burgers, and easy-to-prepare comfort meals that are ready in a flash. Right now, take advantage of 50% off site-wide by shopping their semi-annual sale. This sale only happens twice a year, and it's on now with 50% off delicious customer favorites. And when you use promo code DAWGS at checkout, take an additional $30 off of your order. Don't wait. Go to omahasteaks.com, enter DAWGS at checkout, and stock up on fall flavor today. Omaha Steaks is perfect for those chilly and busy fall nights with entrees ready before the kids can say what's for dinner. And don't forget to use the promo code DAWGS at checkout to score an extra $30 off your order. Omaha Steaks isn't just steak. It's the best steak of your life. Guaranteed. That's omahasteaks.com. Promo code DAWGS at checkout. Minimum order may be required. Now let's get back to the show.
We got a bunch more voicemails, so we could talk about the whole game ourselves, but we're going to let you guys talk about it. First of all, before we get into it, huge shout out to everybody who sent us a voicemail. I think it's awesome to get all these voicemails after a game, and we don't have to do all the talking. I love getting your guys' input for this, and then we can just kind of springboard off of it. So let's continue this for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
kind of treat after the game, just kind of treat our voicemail line like a like it's the Cleveland Browns post-game show. Just call in, leave us a voicemail, we'll play it.
Yeah, and again, that's thedogspodcast.com, and then just tap leave voicemail. It's either in the top menu if you're on a computer, side menu if you're on your phone. You just record it right there and hit send, and we get it. So you want to do the first one here from Isaiah?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, here we go.
Hey, this is Isaiah. I've been a Browns fan for all 17 years of my life, and I don't plan to stop being one now. If our defense can do what they did last night with getting all those 3-and-outs and get that final touchdown of that game, then I think we have a very successful season. Let's go, Browns.
I felt that on a personal level, brother.
That's right.
I felt that.
Because I've been a Browns fan for all 33 years of my life.
I feel that.
Yeah, I don't plan on stopping now either, even though after the Jets game I had a brief moment where I thought maybe I was going to stop.
I think we all kind of stopped at least for a minute. Like,
yeah,
this sucks.
But no, Isaiah, I think we all felt the same way. Like, man, if the defense gets their crap together, this team in this offense keeps producing at this level.
We're putting up points.
The sky's the limit.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what we're going to need going forward with our schedule is we're going to need the offense to continue to be just competent. And the defense just needs to hold it together.
Looking forward to some of our games, there's some games that maybe didn't look like we had a shot that look way more winnable now.
The Chargers look now.
Yeah.
New England.
Those look like games that we can take some serious
Tampa Bay.
advantage of.
I watched Tampa Bay yesterday and it was like, we could beat this team.
Yeah. They got a great defense, but, man, they got nothing
They'll
on
have
their
the
offensive
receivers
line
back by then, I'm
but
guessing,
their offensive line is
booty.
Straight doo-doo.
But that doesn't seem to matter for the Browns. We can't get pressure on those.
I mean, the Steelers' offensive line's terrible, too. And
Well,
so
hey, by that
we
time,
sacked Trubisky once.
we'll have it all figured out if it's like last year.
I hope so.
So, yeah, some of these games, which we're going to get into that more in the after hours. So if you're interested in that, jointhedawgs.com.
Yep. Okay, so anything else with that, or we want to move on to Eric's?
Go ahead, Derek.
All right, here we go.
What up, fellas? That was a great game against the Steelers. Really makes me happy to see that. We should be 3-0, but we're not going to dwell on the past. I just have a couple things I wanted to say. One, I have no delusions that Brissett is the answer for Cleveland, and I cannot wait for Deshaun to get there. But his poise under pressure and his poise on third down is really refreshing. His mistake-free football really gives me hope on third down. Complete turnaround from what Baker was. That's one. Two, can you please talk about our inability to take care of the ball on onside kicks? It's really, really frustrating to watch us not be able to handle our business on special teams. Special teams is a joke. And finally, can you please touch on the fact that we are always giving away yards on penalties, on third down, our inability to stand under pressure and show poise really hurts us. I feel like too many times we have given away field position or put the other team in field position with stupid mistakes like onside or pass interference. That's all. Love you guys. Keep up the good work.
Hey, love you too, dog.
Yeah, we appreciate the call. So we'll just start going, all the things he talked about. Yep. So to address like the Brissett thing compared to years past, I don't think you can't deny the difference in the offense this year and the production you're getting out of the quarterback position. I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but Baker has gone to Carolina and he's off to an abysmal start.
Well, what did we say about Carolina? A worse offensive line and fewer weapons. It wasn't going to get any better.
No,
he was not going to get better there.
We used to argue that he was being held up by all the talent around him, and people, yelled at us. I mean, my God, we got crapped on in YouTube and TikTok comments for an entire year because
still are.
And I just think it's just becoming like super obvious. Like it's very hard to make any kind of other argument anymore. Brissett, first of all, I love having a bigger quarterback.
Yes.
Fourth and 1, and his quarterback sneaks are almost guaranteed because he's so big. The batted balls thing. I saw an interview with Baker where they asked him what he could do to avoid the balls getting batted down, and of course he was like, lay on a table, get stretched out, get taller. Bro, how about like say things like, I don't know, I can look for different windows, navigate the pocket, change my arm angle. Now, of course, he had to get like, sarcastic. And I was just like, thank God we don't have that anymore.
No, and the thing
and Brissett's just got like.
Jacoby's a mature leader.
He's a leader.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's more like Nick Chubb, I think. You know what I mean? Like kind of not super rah-rah vocal, but
he's a little bit more vocal than Nick Chubb.
For sure.
I'm saying, but
did you see the end of the Jets game? He was losing his mind, and Stefanski's like, don't worry about it, man. It's all good. We messed this up, man. This wasn't on you, bro.
Oh, no. Speaking of Stefanski, there was that clip of him mic'd up during the Jets game, and people were like, man, he's just so – I think you could tell he's pissed. But he's so good at compartmentalizing and keeping it because he can't – he got a young football team. If he starts freaking out, then they're going to freak out.
You saw that with Freddie.
Yes. Yeah.
We talked about that his rookie year as a head coach. Like, he's never up, he's never down. Kevin is – he rides that middle line, man, no matter what's going on.
And I think on the inside, he was probably mother effing just about he was ready to kill somebody. But on the outside, he looks calm and ready.
Did you guys see the coach in the booth at the end of the Bills game?
Oh, my God. That's Ken Dorsey.
Everything.
Now,
that's Ken Dorsey.
Oh, was it? Oh, he smashed everything.
That's what Stefanski wanted to go do to Joe Woods.
Yes.
He just didn't.
That was such an epic
hilarious.
Clip. God, that was epic.
But then after this game, you could tell, like, he wanted this one. Like in his post-game speech in the locker room.
Dude, I was going to say, you see the locker room?
Yeah, you could tell, like, he wanted this. So I know Stefanski's not out there losing his mind. He wants it. Trust me, he wants it bad. But, yeah, the Brissett, you can't – I just don't think you can put into words what he means to the football team.
The best thing that Eric said was poise. His poise under pressure.
Yeah. Yep.
He's calm.
And then mistake-free football.
Yes.
Does not turn the ball over. People say, oh, he had that turnover against the Jets. You said he shouldn't even have been out there.
Correct.
We shouldn't even have had him out there. Other than that, you don't see any, like, we saw it last year, throwing into triple coverage or
throwing
just airing it out
over the guy's head.
Yeah.
It's like he just, he does what a quarterback's supposed to. He knows what he's supposed to do with the ball.
He looks so comfortable. I'm very excited for him.
The second thing he talked about was the special teams, in particularly the onside kick returns. I think they asked Stefanski about it after the game, and he was like, what was going through your head when the ball was on the ground? He was just like, a lot. And you could just tell.
PTSD a little bit.
I'm not going to lie. I don't really understand how Prefer still has a job.
And before even that, we missed an extra point early on. And I was like,
I'm giving them some slack. So Justin and I were at this game. That end of the field was insane.
Crazy.
Wind.
Was it really?
Oh my God. So the field, it was, Brown Stadium's notorious for this, for like one part being windy. That side of the field, the field goal posts were literally like rocking back and forth like this. And then the other side, nothing. The flags are just laying dead. It was crazy. That's because that's the same side that the Steelers kicker missed on.
Okay.
And I think you saw on the TV broadcast on Cade's extra point, it was going dead middle and then just because there's like 50-mile-per-hour winds. He's just got to learn to account for that. This was his first bad weather kicking game in Cleveland.
Yeah, there's going to be more. A lot more.
It was very, very, like in my opinion, on that end of the field, I would have been considering going for 2. It was very windy on that side of the field.
That's good to know. That's good to know.
But the hands team is just stupid in general. On the left side, there's 2 middle linebackers. This is the hands team.
Yeah.
And on the front line, they have 2 middle linebackers. And then I understand, like, Amari's back there. But, hey, the ball is getting kicked at guys who don't catch the ball for a living.
Right.
I don't understand what we're doing. We don't have any more corners or safeties or tight ends or anything.
They probably don't want to put Schwartz out there.
No.
No, Felton.
Or Felton, yeah.
I saw a video about how, like, our entire – like scheme for the onside kick return was wrong. Like the way we do, like everything we do about it is we're not doing it correctly. And I'm just like, how does this guy have a job? And then we had 2 penalties. He, kind of segue into his third point and stupid penalties and stuff. On special teams, 12 men on the field twice.
Oh my gosh.
And the last time it was when the Steelers are driving down and it made it 4th and about hair.
Right. Okay.
And all I could
Thanks
think
for not specifying what kind of hair.
and all I could think was
beard hair.
They might go for it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, if these guys go for this now and they get a touchdown because we had 12 men on the field, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah, and like we talked before the show, it's not like 12 men where one guy's trying to get off real quick because they had some miscommunication.
We're lined up in
12
formation.
guys lined up. It's like they showed it on the broadcast. There's 12 guys. Like they're all ready for the play. And
Like you would have to think you get in your position. You go to line up in your spot and there's already somebody there.
Yeah, right,
Something
exactly.
would have to go off in your head.
like somebody's not.
We're not supposed to have 2 corners on this side.
Right. Like, hey, what are you doing out here?
Yeah. It's just and then to talk about some of these dumb penalties, I'm not making excuses, but the Browns are one of the youngest teams in football. And so
That's where you need the coaching.
So I feel like you're going to have some stupid penalties and stuff like that. But yes, that's why it needs drilled. I heard we had like an extra practice today and we did nothing but special teams. So,
Hopefully with a new coach. But they're not going to I doubt they fire any assistant coaches
mid-season. It's
just
it's not going to be the way. But man, the thing that scares me about it is it's going to cost us a game.
We saw it last year cost us a game.
Now
I think technically it kind of already has.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, and
just being honest,
the new punt returner did well. No big punt return,
Chester Rogers,
but he caught the ball.
Yeah, that's all you really need. Like just don't turn it over.
And he caught it confidently.
Correct.
He wasn't like running around like a chicken with his head cut off and then diving for it at the last second. I think Felton's days could be numbered.
I think so too.
He was he didn't even dress. He didn't play. So I mean, this guy keeps catching punts confidently. What do you need Felton for?
Let's put it this way: Felton was a 6th-round pick. He is not being used as a receiver. He cannot participate in the return game. He's not going to be a running back because we have Ford and Johnson behind the 2 elite guys we have.
Right.
Yep.
His days are definitely numbered.
So yeah, I'd look for that. Honestly, I try to move him. You're not going to get a ton, but like San Francisco could use a running back.
What do you get for him though?
I don't know, like a 7th-round pick.
They got an 8th round,
7th-round pick in like 5 years from now.
A 6th-round pick. I don't know. You're probably not getting a 6 considering that's what you drafted for him.
And he hasn't even lived up to that.
But no. So I think the dumb penalties as a team. I don't think we had
5 for 29. It wasn't bad.
So it wasn't bad.
It
just it seems like the Browns always get a penalty at the worst time.
Yeah.
We could have 1 penalty for the game, but it was when the game was on the line,
and it would cost us.
And it would, you know what I mean? We had 1 penalty for 5 yards, but it put them in field goal range at the end of the game, and we lost.
Right. It wasn't like 1st and 10 on the first play of the game in their territory.
Yeah.
No.
So and that's just coaching all around. The young players young players do stupid things. So we just got to grow up quickly. So we appreciate the call, though. Awesome. Call every week, man. I like that call.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yep.
Good one. All right. So we've got, let's see, 2 more, but the last one we're going to do is not necessarily about this game, but this is from Brown Tiger about the game.
Wow, guys. What a game. This is the Brown Tiger. Man, what a game. I just wanted to say, man, give props. I know Amari Cooper was really good today's game. Or tonight's game, but give props to Njoku, man. Njoku was balling out, man. That guy, man, he would get open everywhere, man. They could not stop him. They could not stop him. That's the best I've seen out of Njoku since he came to the team. He's not looked that good since then, in my opinion, man. He looked absolutely amazing. I hope this Njoku we saw tonight can continue for many, many months and years to come as we have him on the team. But, man, our defense on the second half, man, came out strong. They were suspect in the first half, but came out strong in the second, only letting up one field goal. Wow, what a game. I cannot believe how much of a turnaround it is from the game on Sunday to yesterday's game. Man, what a game. Let's go Browns. Woo, woo, woo.
You gotta love it when people call in right after the game. You can tell they're still hyped. Man, what a game! He said that like 10 times. It was exciting.
Very fun. Very fun.
I do want to address. He was talking about the. First of all, we gave props to Njoku again. Yeah. In my opinion, I think his best all around game as a pro. And I'm a big David Njoku fan.
Well, and that just kind of plays into. We also did get a couple website questions. So if you don't want to leave a voicemail, if you're kind of nervous about whatever speaking,
don't be nervous, guys.
No, this is not a podcast to be nervous on at all.
Unless your voice is completely shot like mine was after the game, then just.
But there is a spot on the website there on the front page where you can just type in a question and send it right to us. So this question was also about Njoku. He just said the past few games, do we think this is his ceiling? Should we start to look in a new direction? He's playing great this year, but it's taken a long time to get here. So I think the question's more, what is Njoku? Is it week 1, 2, or is it this game?
So I don't think you can say Njoku had bad games in 1 and 2 because he's such a good blocker. And that's what he was asked to do in games 1 and 2. I think when people saw the contract he got, they thought, well, he needs to come out and be Travis Kelce. No, the Browns aren't paying him to be Travis Kelce. The Browns are paying him to be what they need him to be.
They're paying him to be David Njoku.
And they're paying him to be a tight end who can be an elite blocker and an elite receiver when called upon. If he gets called on to be an elite blocker for 60%, 75% of the games, well, that's what he's going to do. He's going to
do it.
And he's going to do it at an elite level. And that they're paying him because he does what they want him to do at a high level. Mm-hmm. Just because what we want him to do isn't 1,500 yards receiving doesn't mean he isn't living up to the contract in terms of what they want him to do. So I just don't think it's not an offense where David Njoku's going to do this every game. Sometimes it's going to dictate that he is on the end of the line of scrimmage and he's blocking more. But he does that at a very high level. So that's where the contract – being a tight end isn't all just receiving yards.
I was going to say, right. I think that's a tight end thing too. How many – other than Travis Kelce, how many tight ends have a great game like that? And then you'll see more of a 2 for 18 or –
a lot of that's a fantasy football mindset too. Correct. I think a lot of those things are coming from that realm, that world. But in the reality of NFL football, tight end is an extension of the offensive line.
Correct.
Yes.
First, before it is an extension of the receiving core. Yeah, tight end's right in between. You're part of the receiving core, you're part of the offensive line, and David does both very well.
Yeah, and we have the best running game in the NFL in part.
He's part of
due to because we have such a great blocking tight end. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think you're just seeing him play at a high level. I just think it might not be as noticeable because he's not catching 10 passes every game. But that game he didn't catch 10 passes. Go back and watch and see how he blocks.
Yeah.
See how involved he is. See how often we're running to his side, that kind of thing. So I think David Njoku's he's playing great.
Is there anything more fun to watch than an Njoku screen pass?
He catches it and just doesn't have balance, but somehow gets 20 yards.
Yeah.
And just keeps pinballing.
And people just try to tackle him and they can't. And he's fun to watch.
People talk about, Myles Garrett's obviously an unreal specimen of a man. David Njoku, that guy is. He's different.
He was on the TV while we were getting pregame, beverages and food, and he's huge. He's just walking around. I literally was like, man, if I looked like that, I'd walk around with my shirt off all day.
All the time, yeah.
All day.
The The way he walks on the field, he's just got a confident swagger. Like,
well, he's the chief.
Yeah.
He's the chief, exactly. I mean, shoulders back, chest out. Like, he's kind of got that, like, slow motion walk back to the huddle. Like, yeah, that's right.
I have cool hair.
Yes,
Cool
he
hair,
does.
cool backs.
But no, I think Njoku's playing great. I think he's doing everything the team wants him to do / needs him to do. And I just think sometimes you're going to see him have a game like this, and then other times he's not going to have a ton of catches because that's not what the game plan dictated.
Right.
That's fair.
And the last question from the website, Andrew asked, this is going back to the Jets game then, we had some mental lapses in the Jets game. Do we think we need to bring in a veteran cornerback to kind of help humble the younger players on, in that defensive backfield? If so, who would we go after that would fit our scheme? We kind of said no.
No.
That's fair, yeah,
Here's
no.
the thing. In my opinion, Denzel Ward should be your veteran. He's on his second contract.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the premier corners in the league, and he is one of the highest paid corners in the league. He should be the guy leading that room.
We've already established on this show that it is not a personnel issue. It is a scheme issue. It's a coaching issue that we're seeing at least the first two games, and sometimes they're in the Steelers game too. And so you bring in a veteran quarterback, he's still got to learn.
We brought in a veteran safety.
Yeah, exactly. They still got to learn this scheme, and they're still going to look stupid in it if it's not working.
We brought in a veteran corner last year in Troy Hill.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? And just everybody who plays in this system gets worse. So I did want to talk to you. So the defense, they shored things up in the second half. They played a lot better in the second half. I think at one point they had only given up like 50-some yards late in the second half. I'll say this, though. I still don't trust the defense.
I will say this.
That's fair.
It's pretty easy to look good against Mitch Trubisky.
Well, and I thought Mitch didn't even play that bad. But I just still, first of all, Denzel Ward, we just talked about how he's supposed to be a premier corner. He got absolutely worked by Deontay Johnson.
Yes, he
got
did.
cooked.
Over and over. I mean, he looked lost.
Yep.
He got worked by him a ton.
And Deontay even dropped a couple passes.
Yeah, well, that's what he does.
That is what he does, yeah.
So that was discouraging because I saw us lining up. We were screaming, "Can we please play more man? Can we please play more man?" And then I saw us line up and put Denzel in man a lot more, and he got worked. And so that was a little discouraging.
Yeah.
We had some injuries. Now, I guess they said after the injuries, they kind of simplified, which is what I was screaming about we needed to do in the Jets game.
Yes.
That way, just kind of doing less checks, just letting these guys play free and fast. The defense played better. This was a game where, Miles was non-existent.
That's what I was going to say. Where's the damn pressure?
There's none.
Where's the pressure? We don't get no pressure on the quarterback.
Ever.
Zero. So Denzel Ward is great, and these young guys are great. But if they have to sit there and cover a guy for 15 seconds, eventually they're going to get open. My God. Get some damn pressure on the quarterback. I got to sit there and yell like an idiot for forever, and we still don't get no pressure.
And I don't understand how many games do we have to come into?
You've been holding that in for a while, huh?
Let's just be honest.
I'm not trying to be mean to a guy who's just in a car wreck either, but how many games are we like, this is a game Miles should feast? Like the Jets game, rookie left tackle who's awful.
And statue Joe Flacco.
Yeah. This game, the Steelers don't have a good offensive line. And he's literally invisible. And I'm not down there, but man, he takes a lot of plays off.
The only reason they're even showing him on the broadcast anymore is because he quit wearing the undershirt. That's it. He looks good on the TV.
And because
but when the play happens, he's gone.
And he's graded crazy high PFF wise, like 4th in the league in the edge. But PFF's great for some things. I'm watching the game. He's having no impact.
He's doing nothing.
If the play's away from him, nothing. You see TJ Watt make, a lot of times they don't block the end guy in the line of scrimmage. They're trying to, they zone read the other way, banking this guy's not going to chase. And TJ Watt will just chase down your running back 30 times.
Yep. Yes, he will.
Miles almost never is. If it's a run away from him, he just stands there. And it's just, he takes so many plays off. It was halftime. We had halftime. We came out. It was the Steelers' first drive. And after like 4 or 5 plays, he was on the sideline gassed.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you play one way. And you just had halftime.
Yeah.
And you're gassed already, not in the game. And I know he's getting double teamed and triple teamed.
Yeah.
And to me, some of that's on Joe Woods. They need to be creative with him. Move him around. I said, let him stand up sometimes. Just do something to not make it so easy on the offense to double and triple team him.
But Miles has always been like the one-trick pony on the edge. And we've said it before, he does the trick really well when it's working, but when it's not working, like you made the great point last week about a team that just shoots three-pointers. It's kind of the way with Miles. Like, if he's hitting home, that's sweet, but when he's not, it's not doing anything.
And the premier guys get double and triple teamed, but
And they still make
they're
something
still
happen.
premier guys.
Yeah.
Like Aaron Donald gets double and triple teamed all the time. He's still one of the best players ever. TJ Watt gets double and triple teamed all the time. Nick Bosa, these guys, dude in Dallas.
Parsons.
Michael Parsons, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I get the schemes are different and stuff, but if you're then we go back to Joe Woods. Fix your scheme. And you have a premier edge rusher. Let's do something to free him up. So I put a lot on Miles because I watch and I don't always see the effort.
One of the scouting notes against him coming out of college was that he takes plays off.
Yes.
We all knew that. We heard about that. We read about it, but he was just so far, above everybody else in that point that we took him first.
Yeah. And so I put it on Miles, and then at the same time, though, I still put it on Joe Woods. Like, let's get this guy. Let's be creative. Like, I think it was the Jets game. We put him on the same side as Jadeveon, right beside him, and that was the play Jadeveon had the strip sack. Like, let's do more.
Do stuff like that.
Don't do it once a game. Move this guy around all over the place. Use him as like a Swiss Army knife. The guy's a freak athletically. You can stand him up in a 2-point sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude can move. He does 80-inch box jumps. He can play in space a little bit. Like, let's start being creative with Miles. And then Miles, this like after 4 plays, you don't have to come out, dude. You can give you play one way.
Yeah.
But the defense, in my opinion, is
I don't trust him either, Blake.
I don't trust him.
Not yet.
And we've yet to play we've yet to play a good offense.
That's fair.
That's very fair. The Panthers' offense is awful.
We've yet to play a good quarterback.
Yeah. We've yet to play a good quarterback. And so I'm not buying in just because we played one decent half against an offense. I mean, the Steelers' offensive coordinator is terrible. You know what I mean?
They're talking about firing him.
Yeah. And Mitch Trubisky isn't playing as well as I think what some people were thinking he would, including myself. Now, part of that might be on their play calling. But it's just, I'm not, we got some games against some real life offenses coming up.
I mean, just a quick look ahead. We are going to luck out a little bit because we get Marcus Mariota this weekend. Not the greatest quarterback, obviously, is a retread. And then we get a busted rib cage, Justin Herbert, who did not look good at all yesterday.
Yep.
So that's lucky. And then we get probably Brian Hoyer.
Yeah, Hoyer the Destroyer.
So that's good. So our next 3 games, that's nice. But then we got to face Lamar, who looks like he wants to be the MVP again this year.
Yes, he does.
So we better have stuff figured out by the Ravens game.
Yep. Or he'll run for 500 yards and pass for 8 touchdowns.
He will. And that's just what he's doing right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
He looks great.
eyeball test, again, that's what he's doing. So you mentioned injuries. I did just want to say Anthony Walker done for the season.
Sucks.
Oh, my God. And then that
torn
piece
quad.
of guy just jumped on his back. I apologize. But that was like, first of all, the Steelers are playing, in my opinion, pretty dirty.
Yeah.
They were doing some shady crap. And then he's clearly hurt, and this dude just turns around and jumps on. And everybody in the world cannot believe they didn't throw a penalty flag.
Yeah.
Everybody who's seen it, even not Browns fans, are like, that's the penalty.
You can't do that.
Yeah, you just jump and sumoplex a guy when he's laying on the ground hurt. Piece of crap.
Or just laying on the ground in general.
I wish somebody would have just taken it upon themselves the next play to just take that guy out.
Yeah.
Bounty gate. Greg Williams needed to be there. So, but overall, you can't be mad about really anything you watched out of the Browns on Thursday night. Come in. We talked about how it was kind of a good thing to have a quick turnaround to get that Jets taste out of our mouths. And the Browns came out and they looked prepared, especially offensively. And they took it to a division rival, and it just felt so good. Man, it felt good.
It felt real good.
And it put us at 2-1. I think 3-0 would be ideal, but all things considered, I think after these first 4 games, we said we wanted to be 3-1, 4-0. Well, with this win, 3-1 still very much a possibility.
Yeah.
And with those games coming up with the injuries those other teams have sustained, now it looks like we have a chance to even do 4-1.
Yeah, so
5-1.
Now you're looking if the offense can play like this, and if the defense can just figure it out a little bit.
Just don't do stupid stuff.
6 wins is hopefully we can get to 6 wins. I mean, that might be like we could surpass that.
I would love to have a little bit of a buffer when Deshaun comes back, because I don't expect him to be. I expect him to look like Jacoby in week 1, a little rusty, a little off, but then I expect him to get into it. At game 2 and 3 for him.
That's fair.
So, no, great win for the Browns. We appreciate everybody who called in today. You make the show a lot more fun with your guys' interaction. Continue to do that. We'll keep reminding you guys after the games. We are going to do another episode. Make sure you check it out. The Falcons preview should be coming out later this week. You get the extra episode in the after hours. So if you're looking for more content, you want to hear our thoughts on some of these upcoming games that maybe weren't quite as winnable before, maybe they're looking a little bit more winnable now, we're going to dive deeper into that. So if you're interested in that, jointhedawgs.com. Again, appreciate everybody's input into the show. Continue to do that, and we will see everybody next week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter at the Dawgs Podcast, and become an official Dog Pack member at jointhedawgs.com.